Hi there, Wonderful Wizard of HR here. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like this video, please give me a like. And if you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button. Enjoy. You'd like a raise, would you? If you feel that it is time that you get a raise, these 4 steps are going to not only help you determine if it is time for you to get a raise, but they are also going to help you get a raise. These are the best steps that I could think of to help you get there. Your boss probably falls in a few different categories. Either they are mandated to follow a certain schedule and on an annual basis, they provide raises. Others may be given full autonomy to provide a raise when they feel it's best. Others may be given full autonomy, but they are so busy that sometimes they forget when people are due for a raise or who is due for a raise. It doesn't really matter what kind of employer that you have. What matters for you is that you get the raise that you feel you deserve. The very first step in determining if you should even go there to ask for a raise is to check your readiness. Are you ready for a raise? Is your employer ready for a raise? Here's how you can check your readiness. First, check to see if it is time for a raise. If your boss does give annual raises, maybe it's not time yet. If you've only been there for 2-3 weeks, it's probably not time yet for a raise. If you've been there for 3 months, does this boss usually give a raise after the introductory or probationary period with the organization? Have you been a top performer? One of the misconceptions about raises is that a lot of people think they deserve a raise if they do the job that's expected of them. That, for a lot of employers, is not true. They want to give raises, they want to give a merit to the individual who goes above and beyond the expectations of their role. So if you feel you've done that, then you may be ready for a raise. So make sure you look at that. Have you been a top performer? And if you have, you've checked that box and you can move on. Has your attendance been exceptional? Are you the type of employee who goes to work, shows up on time every day, puts extra effort into showing up, maybe works a little overtime here and there, and attendance really isn't an issue? Then yeah, you probably fit the criteria for a raise. And do you feel that you're a trustworthy and loyal employee? If you're trustworthy, your boss can depend on you. You're not really the gossipy type. You're not the person to go behind the boss's back and do things that are not ethical. Your conduct is top-notch, then yes, you're probably due for a raise. If you can't check off all of these boxes, you may want to look at your performance or your behavior and wait a little while until you've changed a few things before you ask for a raise. The second step to asking for a raise is to do your research. There are so many ways you can research what your position pays, and you want to check to make sure that you're matching your job description, because job titles don't always give you the best information when matching your wage to your position. You want to look at the actual position description to see if that's the type of work you're doing. PayScale is an excellent online program that you can access for free to see if your pay is in line with others who are paid in that position. Some job search engines like Indeed will have salary information on certain positions. Some professional associations will have a salary survey that they make available to their members. So check if you're part of an association, check your association to see if there's something like that available to you. And some government websites will also have pay information. So do your research and see if you fall in line with others who are being paid in the same position that you are. The third and the absolute most important step of all 4 of these steps is preparing for your meeting. Rather than just walking into your boss's office or walking up to your boss if you work on a job site and saying, hey, I think I'm due for a raise. And your boss says, why? And you say, because it's time. You're really not prepared. You're not showing your boss that you've really done the work. These are the 4 most important steps to preparing. Write a letter to your boss. Make it formal. Have everything in that letter. Tell them you've been a top performer and list out examples of how you've been a top performer. If your attendance has been on par and your tardiness, you had no tardiness, tell them about that. Any behavior or performance that you can show to your boss that you have gone above and beyond, you want to list in that letter. Also in that letter, you probably want to explain how much of a raise you think you deserve and how you got to that number. Tell them about the research in your letter. Whatever you can put in that letter that shows your boss you've done your homework and you are deserving of that raise, the more likely your boss is going to at least consider giving you a raise. So once you've explained why you deserve a raise in your letter, book a meeting with your boss. You want to have a face-to-face meeting. If you are not in the same area as your boss, at least book a meeting online with your boss. You want to be able to see them when you make your presentation. Make sure when you go into that meeting that you are prepared and that you present that letter. If you're not physically able to see your boss, present the letter by email and let them know that it's on its way. But talk about the letter, talk about everything that you put in the letter, your performance, your behavior, the research that you've done. Share everything you can with your boss to let them know why you deserve a raise. These first 3 steps that I just shared with you are the most important steps for asking for a raise. But there's still one more step that you can't forget. The 4th step is on follow-up. Most bosses will not just give you an answer during the meeting that you have with your boss. They need to contemplate what you've just presented to them. They may need to go to their boss to talk, to make the same kind of presentation to them about you. They may not have the same autonomy that some bosses have. So if your boss didn't at that moment say, yes, I'm going to give you a raise, you deserve it, then you want to go to the 4th step. Wait a couple of weeks. You don't want to follow up every single day. You don't want to follow up the next day or a couple hours later. Give your boss some time to do what your boss needs to do. They were not prepared for this question, so they need to absorb what you said, contemplate what you said, and then take whatever steps they need to take to decide if they can give you a raise and if you deserve a raise from their perspective. The best way to do this is either through an email or a call. The phone call is probably best if you're on site and they're somewhere else. You can give them a quick call. An email works if you have access to an email and you want to track when the last time it was that you followed up with them. An email is also best because you can attach the letter to the email if you haven't already sent it to your boss. And if you call, always pick a good time for when your boss is available. So those are the 4 simple steps. If you follow all 4 of these steps, you have a much better chance of getting a raise than if you were to just catch your boss off guard and you're not prepared, they're not prepared. The chances are a lot lower, odds are a lot lower that you won't get a raise. It is also better than not saying anything at all. It can be very discouraging to you if you've worked for an employer and you feel like you've been a top performer, you have great behavior, you've been there for a while, and you haven't been rewarded. That can make anybody feel like they're not valued. And that isn't always the case. Sometimes bosses just get caught up in what they're doing and they lose focus on what they should be doing for their employees. So don't be afraid to ask. You're going to be most successful if you follow all 4 of these steps. If you skip a step, you weaken your likelihood of actually getting a raise. But if you do all 4 of these steps and you still don't get a raise, my advice to you would be to ask your employer why. They will have a good reason because you gave your employer a good reason for why you should. Best of luck to you. I'm rooting for you. Bye. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember that there are important links in the description below, including links to Wonderful Wizard of HR social media. Enjoy the rest of your day. And once again, if you liked the video, please give me a like. And if you want to see more like this, hit the subscribe button. Thanks.